In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 essential supplements that you need to be adding to your routine in order to boost your health and maximize your performance. Hi, I'm Tim DeLeo. I'm a licensed sport dietitian with over 10 years of experience working with high-level Division I collegiate athletes as well as professional athletes. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, it is Sport Nutrition Academy, where my goal is to help athletes all over the world boost and maximize their performance with nutrition, hydration, and smart supplementation, which is going to bring us to the topic of today's video, which is the 5 essential supplements that you should be adding to your routine in order to maximize your health and performance. Now, all of these supplements are backed by lots of research showing that they're actually effective. There's not going to be any, BS garbage on here that doesn't work. That's just not how I roll as a dietitian. I'm only going to recommend products that I know to be effective, know to actually get results. Not trying to sell you anything. These are just my personal recommendations. At the end of the video, I'll be going through several honorable mentions who did not quite make the cut. But if you would like me to make a video on 1 or maybe 2 of these particular supplements, definitely leave a comment below, and whichever ones get the most traction and most popularity, I'll go ahead and make a video for you all. So supplement number 1 is going to be a multivitamin. Basic as that sounds, many of us and many of the athletes that I work with, simply do not get all the vitamins and minerals that they need through food. So sure, as a sport dietitian, I work with athletes on incorporating different foods into their diet in order to kind of correct these deficiencies. But kind of as a blanket coverage for the vitamins and minerals, I tend to recommend a really good multivitamin that does include minerals to make sure that they're getting things like iron, calcium, magnesium, and so on. And because a lot of athletes, maybe even yourself, do not get all the nutrients that you need through food alone, a multivitamin is not just going to be expensive pee. So yes, like some of the things that you do take in from a multivitamin, your body will not be able to absorb because you're getting enough through food, which means you're gonna, pee some of it off. But for many athletes, like I said, that I work with, and for yourself, if we're not getting enough of those things through food, then our body is certainly going to utilize them and absorb them from the multivitamin. So, it's a load of crap when someone says a multivitamin is useless and you're just paying for expensive pee. The reality is that it does have some benefit, especially if your diet is pretty limited in terms of vitamins and minerals. The second supplement is going to be a whey protein powder, ideally a whey isolate protein powder. Now, there's a lot of misinformation around protein powder to begin with. A lot of athletes I work with think that just by taking a protein powder, that's automatically going to, help you build muscle, or if you're a female athlete, taking protein powder is going to make you big and bulky. And that's just not the reality of what a protein powder is going to do. Protein powder is simply, an easy, quick, convenient, quick digesting source of protein. It's no different than the protein that you're going to get from eating a piece of chicken or having a couple eggs. It's just in a really easy to digest form. It's going to get absorbed into your body really quickly. So it's ideal for, when you're on the go or after a workout to help with that muscle repair and recovery. Now, you certainly can get all the protein that you need each day through food alone, but a lot of times with athletes, they need to be eating a lot of protein, much more than the average person. And, it can be difficult with their busy schedules to, sit down and eat a full meal and get that protein in, and they're on the go traveling, practice games. So having an easy, quick, convenient source of protein like a protein powder makes reaching that protein total that they need each day very easy. Supplement number 3 that I recommend for all athletes is going to be vitamin D. Now, you might know vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin because, we tend to get most of our vitamin D from the sun. But if you play a sport where you train predominantly indoors, or if you're like me and you live in the Northeast in the Boston area, we don't get a lot of sun for, many months out of the year. So it's really hard to get vitamin D from the sun. It's just the fact that there's not a lot of foods that are really high in vitamin D, making it very difficult to get all that you need through food alone. So typically what I'll recommend athletes to do is to supplement with vitamin D during the winter months. So starting around, October timeframe and then taking it through March, just to make sure that our vitamin D levels are either being consistent or we're increasing them throughout the winter months when they tend to decrease with that lack of sunlight. And then in the summertime, again, depending on your lifestyle, where you live, how you're training, maybe we can remove that supplement for the summer months and then start it back up again when winter rolls around. Vitamin D is part of a lot of essential functions in the body. I could probably make an entire video just on the benefits of vitamin D, but to name a few, bone health, vitamin D helps to absorb calcium. It helps to keep your bones strong. Muscle health, immune system health. There was a lot of research showing that individuals who had higher vitamin D levels had reduced symptoms or symptoms that didn't last as long when they got COVID, or might have been even less likely to get COVID and upper respiratory infections. So again, definitely essential to take vitamin D in the winter months when it's cold and flu season. And there's also a lot of good research showing that athletes who have adequate levels of vitamin D are less likely to have ligament or tendon injuries, things like ACL, meniscus. So it's really important to keep your vitamin D levels high. And to do that, we're going to need to supplement. Next up on the list is going to be omega-3, or as you may have heard of it referred to, fish oil. So omega-3s are a type of essential fat that we have to get through our diet. Our body is not going to make them on its own. And unfortunately, here in America, our diets are kind of skewed where we intake a lot more omega-6 fats, which are also essential, but tend to be a little bit more inflammatory compared to omega-3s, which are going to be much more anti-inflammatory. So anti-inflammatory foods are going to help with that recovery, help with muscle soreness, help with recovery from injury, decreasing the overall inflammatory load in the body, which is going to be beneficial for athletic performance. Omega-3s are also really beneficial for brain health. So if you play a sport where concussions are a risk, definitely something you want to try to incorporate there. Cardiovascular health, as well as a lot of other benefits. So we really want to incorporate omega-3s in the supplement form. Like the other supplements I mentioned before, we certainly can get omega-3s from food sources, being mostly your fatty fish. Chia seeds, flax seeds are also going to have a type of omega-3 as well. But in order to get the amount that's going to be beneficial for you from a recovery standpoint and athletic performance standpoint, you have to eat a lot of those foods. And for most athletes that I've come across, they just don't tend to eat fish all that often. Or in the case of my collegiate athletes, the dining halls are not offering fish or seafood very often throughout the week. So because of the limited access they have to that particular food and nutrient, then we want to try to supplement. And then last, but certainly not least, is going to be creatine monohydrate. Creatine is one of the most researched and evidence-based, supported, proven, whatever you want to call it. The supplement works. There's been loads of research and data showing that it works. Lots of anecdotes, athletes taking it, and I've seen it work. So it's definitely something that I recommend to almost all my athletes across the board, just because it has so many benefits for health and athletic performance. So creatine is a fuel source that your body is going to use during high intensity, short duration exercise. So think of things like weightlifting, sprinting, jumping, those types of really high intensity activities. Your body's using creatine first, and then it's quickly moving into carbohydrate because your energy stores for creatine are very low. Naturally, your body will make some creatine every single day. And you can also get creatine from food that you're eating, specifically, animal proteins like red meat, steak, chicken, fish. Those are going to have some creatine in it as well. But in order to really fill up the creatine fuel tank in your muscles, we have to supplement. And by supplementing with creatine, we get increases in strength, increases in power, increases in hydration, because creatine is going to store water inside the muscle cell, which is why you may have had friends or even yourself who've taken creatine and they've increased their body weight over a matter of weeks. That's simply because their body is holding on to extra water and fluid, which is good for hydration. Creatine has been linked to improved cognitive functions with the brain. So definitely something that we want to incorporate as well. Again, especially if you're in a sport that has a risk of concussion. So a whole host of benefits for creatine. So it doesn't matter if you're male athlete, female athlete, looking to gain weight, lose weight, regardless of whatever you are, creatine is going to be beneficial for you. And I especially recommend it for any of my athletes who are vegan or vegetarian, because they're not getting those high creatine sources in their food, being the animal proteins. They've removed those from their diet. So they're missing a really good source of creatine there. So those types of athletes can really even benefit a lot more from creatine supplementation than athletes who are already following a high protein diet and eating lots of animal proteins. So before we get into the honorable mentions, I'll wrap it up and summarize those 5. Those were multivitamin, vitamin D, protein powder, fish oil / omega-3, and creatine. Now we'll take a dive into the honorable mentions. So remember, leave a comment below and let me know which of these honorable mention supplements you'd like to know more about. And I can certainly do another video with maybe the top 2 or 3 that get the most comments below. And the honorable mention supplements that quite didn't make the cut of my essential supplements are going to be magnesium, turmeric, beetroot, caffeine, probiotic, collagen, and tart cherry. So all of those also can provide a benefit in terms of health, athletic performance, recovery, but they don't quite reach my top essential 5. But again, happy to do a video on those if you like, so let me know in the comments below. I'd also love to hear from you, specifically what supplements have you tried, what supplements are you currently taking that you found to benefit your health or your performance. Have you tried any of the essential 5 that I covered in this video, or maybe even some of the honorable mentions? Let me know in the comments below and we can talk about it. I think it'd be great for you to share the supplements that you've tried, because that can also benefit other folks in the community here at Sport Nutrition Academy. So if you learned anything in this video today, please leave a like, share the video, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.